Hello everybody, so I have some bad news kind of, well some weird news. I actually recorded all of Shrine of Storms 4.1 in a previous recording, but I unfortunately did not have my mic on because I'm still getting used to all of this and there's a lot of weird technical things that I keep forgetting because I tend to space out. But soon I'll have that all ironed out and I won't have to do this anymore. I've definitely learned from my mistakes, but this is a brand new character. Well, not a brand new character. I was gonna get Audacity and just edit a audio file over the video footage, but instead I had a character that was really close to where I was at, and I'm just gonna do 4.1 on this character because I've already beaten 4.1 on my last character, obviously, because I filmed it, but once I beat it with this character, I'm gonna go back to the other character, so that way we have the build much more similar to how we were going to have it. But in this one, I did not do I guess I didn't do Journey to the Nexus. I actually don't remember this character at all, but I didn't do Journey to the Nexus, so I do not have the world tendencies that I used to have. So I'm going to sort of show these off so you guys can see what neutral world tendency looks like. And Boletarian Palace is currently at neutral world tendency, and then everything else is just at +1. It's not at +2 or +3 or whatever it was. And a pure black world tendency actually looks like the broken stone that you see up at the upper right hand corner. It's very dark and kind of blacked out. So yeah, it's a very subtle difference between pure white world tendency and like perfect. I don't know. It's way easier to tell when something's pure black than it is pure white. But I just kind of wanted to show that to you guys before I go back to my other character. Another thing with this character too is that, actually let me level up just so, because we're going to be running through Shrine of Storms really early. So I'm just gonna increase my vitality like crazy. Okay, so this character is currently at soul level 21. So we're going to be running through level 4.1, which is Shrine of Storms first area. And it's going to be kind of tedious, and I apologize for that, because there's a lot of really good sort of like equipment, rings, shields, swords. It's really good to get 4.1 out of the way pretty early on because you can get all this good stuff. A lot of people really like Shrine of Storms too. I'm not too partial to it, but I kind of want to show it off. I've already picked up a couple of, I like ran around this level and checked to see, but I've already picked up a couple of the items with this character. I'm not sure what I was doing with this character when I was playing her, but it looks like I was doing something because I picked up the Crescent Falchion. Actually, I should probably equip that. And I picked up a couple of other things, but I'll go to where I picked up those items, and I'll show you guys where I got them. Actually, let me see if the Crescent Falchion does enough, does damage, or does as much. I know that these guys are weak to piercing, so it may not do as much damage as the spear was, but we'll give it a shot. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I also find it way easier to backstab with curved weapons than I do with pole arms and stuff. Oh, this guy's stuck. Yeah, so that does way more damage, so I'm just going to stick with the Crescent Falchion then. Okay, so for this one, there are actually two guys over here. And you want to kind of just kite them out one by one because they can be kind of a pain to your endurance with multiple of them running into your shield. I also want to talk a little bit about the stealth system in this game, because that wasn't something that was as, not like viable, but something that was as used as it was in this game. Because the stealth system in this game is actually dependent on equipment rather than spells. You don't have, well, I don't remember if there's an invisibility spell. I don't think that there is, but there's actually the thief set and the thief, or the thief's ring, and then there's also the grave robber ring, and all those things stack. So the stealth stacks based on distance. So if you have all the stealth items equipped, the person literally has to be standing right next to you in order to see you, which is really, really, really cool, because there was a lot of really cool sort of sniping builds based on that. It was really fun to sort of play hide and go seek with people who invaded you, although I wouldn't recommend it. People get really frustrated, but and send you hate mail and stuff. But yeah. Oh, there's also a shortcut here. If you roll off this ledge, you can actually get on top of there, drop down, and the boss room is right over there. It's a good way to avoid Black Phantoms as well, because they can't pass through the fog gate that's in between sort of the boss room and where that fall is. It's kind of weird. So the Black Phantoms usually have to exit your game in order to leave. But usually right here on this corpse, there is a item, and when you pick it up, it is a copper key. And the copper key leads to the jail cell of Grave Robber Blige, and he sells arrows for really cheap. So it's really important to sort of free him, set him free. If you do plan on using bows, which I do plan on using bows with my builds because bows are really good in this game. I like them much better. Somebody actually was saying in the comments that they like the Dragon's Dogma bows, and they wish that they would put that in this system, and I definitely agree. I love the Dragon's Dogma bows, but I feel like it may make it a little bit OP because you can actually aim really well. It's like you can aim too well with the bows, so you probably see it a lot in PvP. A lot of people just like running around and shooting, although that would be kind of fun too. But I don't know. I think I would enjoy archers being way more viable, because whenever there are viable archers in games, I almost always play as an archer, and I actually had a sticky long compound bow build, which was one of my favorite PvE builds because it's really fun, just sniping. But there's also a bow called the lava bow, which is really fun to use because it actually stun locks enemies because it does fire damage. It shoots fire arrows, and it's really, really, really fun. I just have a lot of love for bows. So over here is where Sparkly the Crow lives. Sparkly the Crow's a lot like Snuggly, only Sparkly like shiny items, obviously. And you could give him the brass telescope that Ostrava gave us.
Give Spock me.
Blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to demonstrate that right now. If a lot of people really want me to demonstrate it, I'll make a separate video with the list of items that you could actually trade with Sparkly. If that doesn't interest you guys could just look it up on your own. It's really not that hard to find. Over here, on this ledge, we have a skeleton archer. I killed him. I didn't explain, but yeah, the long compound bow is actually on this guy right here. I must have picked it up already with this character. So that's a really good bow. And I suggest picking it up. Down here is a secret wall. We're gonna go past this. There are two guys on each side in this little area, but they're really stubborn sometimes. Come on. Okay, so now we've gotten past these guys. Okay, it looks like I already opened this. So, Grave Robber Blige hangs out in here.
Oh, hello.
This is where you use that key. And yeah, the arrows he sells in here are 10 souls, which that's amazing because the blacksmith sells arrows for something ridiculous. I'll actually check when we get back. I think it's, I don't know if it's 20 souls or if it's like 50 souls. It was insane. I actually had forgotten the price because I refuse to even look at his inventory because he sells pretty outrageous stuff. But then let's show you some items over here. Oh, there's That's a mean message. You do not want to run straight through. But there is the Vanguard's right here. There's another Vanguard. I'm not going to fight him because you guys have already seen me fight the Vanguard. And I fought him in my original footage and I don't feel like fighting him again. But there's a dead body right here and you get the Uchigatana off of this body. It looks like I already grabbed that. There's actually the Killige, which is another really popular weapon that's out there somewhere. And a couple of other really nice curved swords throughout the level. Wait, let's see how much damage I do to him. Okay, I don't do too much. I don't want to fight this guy. It's just going to be really tedious and long and take up time that I could be using doing other things that are more lucrative. Oops, oops, oops. Okay, so that's a really big issue in this stage. A lot of times, because there's a cliffside that you'll see me walk along later, sometimes you'll be trying to target an enemy and it'll target the manta ray that's in the sky and you'll walk off the cliffside. So be really careful targeting enemies in this stage. It's really annoying. So let's get rid of these guys first, and then I'm going to show you the Adjudicator Shield and where to get it. The Adjudicator Shield is really, really, really important, especially for faith builds. But see that guy, that dead guy standing behind the the red-eyed skeleton? That is where the Adjudicator Shield is. I think I already picked it up on this character. Let's check. Yes. So the Adjudicator Shield is really gorgeous. It, for those of you who really like sort of the equipment and the art of Dark Souls or Demon Souls, it's probably my favorite shield in either of the games because it's very, very detailed and gorgeous. As the manta ray stabbed me. It shows an image of a skeleton bowing before the Adjudicator, and the Adjudicator is this fat monster that has a giant crow on his head, and it's a pagan god. I'm going to show you the lore, so if you guys are really interested in the Adjudicator's lore, I definitely suggest pausing and reading all of this because it's really cool. It's probably my favorite boss lore. I really like sort of pagan-y type gods. It reminds me, the Adjudicator actually reminds me a lot of some Egyptian mythology, because it's sort of based on your life and your worth. The Adjudicator would, if you weren't worthy, he would eat you. And that's, I believe that there was a myth of, I don't know if it was Anubis, but one of the gods would weigh your heart, and if it was lighter than a feather, you would get into the underworld, and if it wasn't, he would feed you to like this crocodile dog thing. I don't know. I'm sure those of you know what myth I'm talking about. Okay, so really quick, this guy will actually ignore you if you run past the second guy. So let's just do that. So if you stand here, you can actually see him walking back to where he spawned. So that guy's really easy to dodge, but you do need to dispatch this guy because we need to get past this guy, this third guy up in the distance, and you actually have to kite him back. Be really careful, once again, be really careful targeting these guys because if you target the manta ray, you will walk off the ledge. I've done it several times. I've done it while co-oping with people. I've done it while invading people. It is miserable. It's embarrassing. Don't do it. So, kite this guy. I could probably just fight him right here with the Crescent Falchion, but I don't know if I'm even pronouncing the Falchion right, but Falchion, that's what we're gonna call it. Come on. It's being a slowpoke. Also, those spears that the manta rays are throwing at me are really easy to dodge. You can hear the audio cue for it. Thing is though, I have my TV volume turned off so that way the mic quality is much better. Oops. Jeez, so many hits in succession. Ooh, I almost rolled right off the edge. But yeah, I have my TV volume turned off, so I have no idea when those spears are coming at me, so sorry if I seem like I'm being pretty dumb. Okay, so it looks like I made it. There is a fog gate here, normally. But I guess it's not there. So the grave robber ring that I was sort of talking about earlier with the stealth is... I also grabbed it. It is on this dead body that is right across this rafter. And then there's another really good ring called the regen ring, which I also think I grabbed. Let's see what I have. Yes, the regenerator's ring. So that actually stacks with the Adjudicator Shield, with, there's a Faith spell that regens health over time, and it stacks with Faith weapons in this game, which also regen health. So that's a lot of health regen. That's really good for people who don't want to use expendable items. It's really good for new players who aren't really sure, you know, how to get through the game, and run out of healing items really quick, because even though healing items are really good in this game, well, they're not really good. They're really easy to exploit because you can get a lot. But if you're new to the game, it's really easy to run out of them very fast and very early. And it can actually make you very vulnerable throughout the game, and it's kind of like when I first played the game, very first touched it, didn't know anything about the game, I actually used most of my Crescent Moon grass in Stonefang, and it screwed over the rest of my game. So it can be a little bit scary for people who are just starting out. It's not like the Estus system where it kind of like helps out people who are bad, but it also doesn't let people who are really good exploit large numbers of grass. So it's kind of interesting the way they did Estus. I really liked that, although humanity is still exploitable, but whatever. I'm not really gonna fight this guy. I'm just gonna go straight to the boss room. So the Adjudicator is actually really easy. He's a lot like the Tower Knight, where his size is actually the most intimidating part of him. Although if you do try to run from him, he can grab you with his tongue, and he will pull you down, and it will do quite a bit of damage to you. There are ways to sort of, for ranged people, there are ways to cheese this boss. All you have to do is stand up at the very highest point of the stage and just shoot the golden bird that's on top of his head. And you can kill him very fast that way. It's kind of ridiculous. But meleeing him is pretty fun. If you just stay in his armpit over here, you're really safe. Although if he pushes you up against a wall, it can kind of mess you up. It's alright, so we want to hit the Golden Crow once he falls over. Very similar to the Tower Knight. Very similar. Although I like this boss much better than the Tower Knight. Just in design, I really like the Adjudicator. You want to hit this knife that's in him. It doesn't do any damage to him like hitting the ankles of the Tower Knight did. It does make him fall over. That's pretty much what you want to do. If you hit him anywhere else, he will not fall over. So yes, hitting him here is very important. And they actually they're really forgiving with this boss. They put this knife in like his one weak point. Like they put it in the one area where he doesn't slash at you. So it's very, very easy. Don't be intimidated. I was very intimidated my first time with him. A lot of the bosses in this game kind of use the intimidation factor to push you around. Especially, I feel like somebody said King Allant was one of the harder bosses they faced. But King Allant is actually a really easy boss. Once you get his moves down, he just goes really fast, so it's very intimidating. Although Flame Lurker I still have an issue with. I don't think I'll ever get good at Flame Lurker. I know people who are very good with Flame Lurker, but I'm not. I mean, like, Flame Lurker's more fun than he is difficult, but you'll see later. But King Allant can actually be stun locked, so if he's doing anything really scary, you can stun lock him out of it. Except for the grab where he can drain your soul levels. I believe that has like I believe that has armor on it, so you can't actually hit him out of it. So yeah, this is 4-2. Grave Robber Blige is right down here. Well, once I go back to the Nexus and everything registers, he should be... Oh wait, no, he's actually here. He's already here.
Hello there. You look terrible.
He's fast. So yeah, you can just buy your arrows and stuff here. I'm gonna go back to the Nexus so we can level up, and I think that's... How long is this video? This video is only 18 minutes. I'll probably cut it here so that way... Oh wait, there's a Stone of Ephemeral Eyes here. This is really important. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this video here, and then I'm gonna switch back to my other character, which has all this equipment and is already set up and everything. And I'll play on that so that way it'll be easier for me to get White World Tendency event items and to show you special NPCs and stuff. And then I am going to do, like I said before, I'm going to do a Black World Tendency to sort of show you guys what that looks like, and the primeval demons and some of the really neat things. Oh, I also want to show you guys this thing too.
well, you found yourself an... I'm impressed. Stay the path. Can't you...
Oops, wrong guy.
I'm sorry, I cannot die. Not while the neck
So yeah, she's trapped here just like you are.
thou stand
Um,
soul of the mind, key to life's ether.
let's see. Well, it doesn't really matter what we upgrade, really. I'm just gonna dump points everywhere. I'm trying to think if there's anything cool I can sort of... Oh, I also wanted to talk about the sort of like numerical naming that people use whenever they talk about the levels in this game. And what you want to do is you want to start at Boletarian Palace and go clockwise. So Boletarian Palace is 1, Stonefang Tunnel is 2, Tower of Latria is 3, Shrine of Storms is 4, Valley of Defilements 5. And so then when you click on... So this is stone number 1. When you click on 1, you have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Stonefang would be 2, so 2, 1, and then there would be 2, 2, 2, 3. And that's how a lot of the community sort of talks about the numbers or stages in this game. And so when you see the numbers that are on the video title, you'll see like 1, 1 or 4, 1. This video should have been 4, 1. Then you guys will sort of understand where I'm at. I'm also going to include the name anyway, just for new people who are watching or people who haven't played this game. But I kind of wanted to explain that if you guys see people talking online about, like if you read a little bit more or whatever, if you guys see that on any of the wikis or any of the forums, that's why. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's talk to Ostrava, and then I'll end this video.
At its peak, Boletaria was a grand kingdom. The king, his knights, and his subjects were modest and plain, but also steadfast and compassionate. In the distant southern kingdom, Boletaria was known as paradise on earth. But look at what has become of us now. I refuse to believe that this is what Father wished for our great land.
So, as we sort of know from the opening intro, King Allant did something bad, and he summoned demons into Boletaria, and Ostrava's whole mission is that his whole story arc is that he doesn't believe that his father is corrupt, and he actually is going to head to the Boletarian Palace so that way he can confront his father. And so when we follow Ostrava throughout the game, we're going to see his character arc and his like character development and everything, and we're going to sort of see he's kind of like Solaire in a way in this game, because he has one of the longest arcs throughout the game. He goes all the way to one of the end bosses, and he'll be in every single stage up until that end boss, which is not something you see from any of the other NPCs. And yes, let's talk to Blacksmith Baldwin.
The name's Baldwin. It's simple. In trade, I'll give you weapons with your souls. Perhaps you've already heard, but there's another blacksmith at the entrance. He's an eccentric old man, but he knows his trade well. If you do meet him, yeah.
And Baldwin's pretty interesting in that he actually has scales on his arms. You can't see here, but there is a loading screen with Blacksmith Baldwin and his the other blacksmith that he was speaking of. And they're sort of fighting, and they actually have scales. You can see his thigh, you can see the scales on his thigh. But there are lizard men in Stonefang, and Franz and I were actually discussing whether or not that was a product of the demons being released, or if that was sort of like an evolutionary, or like they adapted to the Stonefang tunnel, so they sort of became these weird lizardmen. But yeah, it sort of talks about how, as you could read in the Stonefang tunnel little thingy, it says that everybody had their souls taken, but lacking their own will, all of them continue working. So you'll see a lot of miners in Stonefang tunnel, and there's actually lore as to why they keep working. I definitely suggest if you guys do pick up this game, take the time to read all of the Archstone things, because they're really, really, really good. I actually like the way that the lore is set up in this game, just because it's a lot more hidden in Dark Souls, but I feel like you have sort of like these base descriptions, and then you have all the NPCs you can interact with if you save them, which is really neat. But I kind of want to talk about, before I end this video, I'm at like 20 something minutes. I'm trying to make this long, but not too long. But somebody asked in the comments in one of my other videos whether or not Dark Souls was a prequel or if it was a sequel, and it's up for interpretation. I actually have a whole video on why I think it's Dark Souls is a spiritual prequel. A lot of people think it's a sequel, but I know there's a lot of debate surrounding that. A lot of people say that the games aren't connected because of a lot of the copyright reasons, and that's exactly why they are not connected, and why it's sort of a spiritual prequel and rather than a direct one, and why it's called Demon Souls and Dark Souls. It's because of legal reasons they can't actually make the two games fully connected. There are a lot of references sort of talking about the way that demons have formed, and I think Latria is one of the biggest clues, because we actually encounter, it sort of talks about the queen. An old man took revenge on the queen by locking her family in a prison. That old man is actually her husband, which was the king, and the king is possessed by a demon cloth, which is King Jeremiah from Dark Souls. And I will show you guys the rest of the lore from that. But yeah, sort of King Jeremiah went on he got exiled from the Tower of Latria by the queen, and so he left to go find an army and return to take Latria, which is what he did in this game. So when we encounter King Jeremiah, he's still on his quest. You can read some of the old monks' rappings, or King Jeremiah's rappings, to sort of get more lore out of that. But yeah, there's a lot of reoccurring NPCs. We see Patches, we see the Crestfallen Warrior, so there's a lot of like references and stuff. But yeah, the actual game things aren't fully related. So yeah, that's all. And thank you guys for sitting through my rambles and stuff. And yeah, bye.